Hello and welcome back to Long COVID MD. I'm Dr. Zeest Khan. I am a board certified and licensed physician who is a full-time patient with long COVID. I am here to help explain your symptoms and help identify ways that you can utilize the existing healthcare system for your benefit. But today, I want to wish you a very happy 2025 and talk about a New Year's resolution that I am making and one that I encourage you to make as well, even if you're not the type of person who typically makes New Year's resolutions. I do, and at minimum, I take January as an opportunity to reflect back on the past year, identify the challenges that I've overcome, what has worked, what things I'm going to try to avoid doing in the future, and set some intentions for this next year and the next chapter in my life. This year, I am dedicated to following the advice of Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, when asked what advice he would give a child who felt scared because of a dangerous situation, he said, look for the helpers. There's always someone willing to help. And he said he got that advice from his own mother when he read the news as a child and started becoming afraid of the things that were happening in the world around him. Like a lot of advice that is short and simple, this advice is not necessarily easy to implement. And I wanted to break it down for you because I see 3 steps or 3 actions that we have to take in order to really implement our ability to look for the helpers. But first, I get it. I think some of you might be rolling your eyes and saying that I have been looking for help this entire time. That's all I do. Or alternatively, think to yourself, what is the point for looking for help? Nobody knows the solution to long COVID. Can anybody even help me? And all of those feelings are reasonable, but I still think it's worthwhile to dedicate our time and focus on looking for good help. To look for the helpers, the first part of this puzzle is to be able to identify the help that we need. If we're in an emergency, like we're trying to escape a burning building, we know that our ultimate goal is to get out and get to safety. In long COVID, our needs are a lot more complex. And it's almost like standing outside of your home that's falling apart and thinking, what do I do now? There is no one rescuer who's going to carry us out of this emergency. We're going to need a team of helpers to meet our needs. We have medical needs, but we also have emotional and practical needs too. So some of our helpers can be those who wear lab coats, and some of our helpers are people with no medical background at all. If you can, I encourage you to spend some time to reflect on your needs. What are your most pressing physical symptoms that need immediate care or a deeper exploration? What are your emotional needs? How are you processing your grief? And what are your practical needs? How hard is it to get meals, to have clothes, to be fed, to get through a day of work? Where are you seeing challenges and where can you get more ease? Get as precise as you can with your needs so that when help comes your way, you're able to identify it. The second step to looking for the helpers is to avoid the detractors. So if we continue our burning building analogy, if you're in a burning building, you're going to look for someone who looks like a firefighter, has a helmet on, has a uniform on, is holding a water hose and an axe, and you're going to run to that person. What you're not going to do is run to a nosy neighbor or engage with a person who is denying that your house is on fire or who is making fun of you for being afraid of the flames. Detractors are unfortunately everywhere. They are very often found online. Stop engaging with trolls online. A lot of this inflammatory language that's being used is clickbait. It's for their own benefit. Stop engaging with them. They're making you angry on purpose. You're not going to convince them that you are worth care and that you are suffering. Remember that the truth is that you are suffering and that you deserve care. You have a legitimate condition and you require health care. No matter who does not believe that is irrelevant. It is still true that you have a legitimate condition and that you require health care. Unfortunately, some of these detractors are influential people. They can be public decision makers or people with a large platform. In that case, if you choose to engage with them, do so with thought and intention. I'm thinking about 2 interviews I've done on this podcast, one with Minnesota Senator Lindsey and the other with Ezra Spear from the Long COVID Moonshot Initiative. Both interviews describe thoughtful and productive ways of trying to engage influential people to benefit the public and particularly to benefit people with long COVID. Follow that example, whether you're doing it with another group, which I recommend, or doing it on your own. Other influential people who can unfortunately be detractors are people who are dressed as rescuers, people in long white lab coats, medical professionals. Unfortunately, there are plenty of medical professionals who have skewed ideas about long COVID and can be dismissive and sometimes harmful to you and your health. At minimum, they're not meeting your needs. I'm sorry if you have faced this. I'm sorry if you face this in the future. My advice is the same as it's always been. When I see a doctor who I realize is not going to be helpful to me, I run down my list of medical needs to see if there's any way this person could help me, even if it's a matter of like signing a document I need. If this relationship is not beneficial, I wrap up the appointment, I leave, and I don't come back. If it's with a specialist who I need more care with, I find a replacement. When I've said this before, I've gotten very valid feedback that it is neither easy nor quick to find a replacement medical provider, to switch providers. I recognize that and I understand that. And I have been on wait lists for over 6 months to see people. But it's not helpful to talk to a brick wall. And what I hope for you is the ability or the improved practice in recognizing when you're talking to a brick wall, even if that person is your doctor. There are other people in your life who you can't easily replace. Our personal and our professional relationships need a much more nuanced approach, and I don't have easy advice or simple advice to give you. It is one of the reasons that I recommend working with a mental health therapist or a counselor to talk about, one, the grief that comes with being disappointed with someone who you thought cared for you and who you want to help you. And 2, to talk through options to navigate these relationships safely, learning how to set boundaries without compromising your security. It's really important that we keep our jobs if we can. It's really important that we maintain our housing. And sometimes these personal and professional relationships are very linked to these necessary resources. And speaking of resources, I recognize that all of these things are really hard to do, but what makes it easier for me to say yes and no is that I remember that my energy and my time is a non-renewable resource. It's true for me now. It is true for me before I felt ill. It is true for all of humankind. But it becomes crystal clear and unavoidable when you have a fatiguing illness like long COVID. So if my energy and time is my most precious resource, where can I most effectively invest this asset? When is it appropriate for me to spend my energy? When is it appropriate to pivot away from an interaction? When you ask this question in a conflict or when you're reflecting on a conflict, it can become really useful because over time, you're going to be able to identify what is worth engaging in and what is not worth engaging in. The final part of Mr. Rogers' advice that I'd like you to think about is learning how to accept or receive help. Because once you've identified what help is, once you've identified what a detractor is, hopefully you have something in front of you that could benefit you. If you're not ready to receive it, it's going to go unused. It can be really difficult for people like me who are very used to being the ones who help to then be in what feels like a vulnerable situation and need to receive help. But it is so important. And I encourage you to do that self-work to recognize that you are not of less value than you were before you fell ill and that you deserve help. Don't be your own obstacle. There are several ways that you're going to have help offered to you. One is going to be from people who are willing to help you and have a really specific way to help you that you need. That's an easy yes. There's going to be people who are willing to offer you help, but can offer you help in a way that you don't really need at that time. That is a gentle no. And then there's going to be people who are willing to help you, but they may not know how to help you immediately. All of these people are your resources. All of these people can be assets to you and help you retain the limited energy that you have. Keep all of them in mind and nourish these relationships. Be comfortable then when you have your Rolodex of people willing to help you, and then you come across a way that that person could help you, to be ready to reach out and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take you up on that offer to help. Can you help me now? I want you to also remember, if you're doing this and it feels awkward, to think about how it felt when you helped someone else. Helping others generally feels really good. So provide a way for someone else to help you and feel good. It takes grace. It takes patience. It takes a little bit of ego death to do this, but I would not be where I am if I refused the help that was available to me. I myself have been thanked for helping through this podcast. I don't think I can help as much as I would like to. But I remember a time really recently when I was incapable of helping someone else. I was not functional. I was bedbound. And I am so grateful to the people who have helped me because I would not be functioning as well as I am now without it. So if you are the person who is in the situation where you need help and you cannot help others, take the help. And when you can, pass it on. But right now, your job is to receive appropriate help. I am dedicated to amplifying the voices of helpers. That's been my goal with this podcast. I am doing my best to identify people who can help, engage with them, and invite them here so that you can better recognize what help looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like when you experience it. And we have a lot more helpful episodes on the way. So please subscribe and follow to the Long COVID MD community. Another one of my New Year's resolutions is to keep working on my website. So right now you can find me at longcovidmd.substack.com. It's free to join, and you will receive a newsletter with a notification of each podcast, plus some extra stuff as well. Reach out by email to me and let me know what you think. What are your New Year's resolutions? What do you want to see happen in the next coming year? What's your next season looking like? What's your prediction? I have a lot of hope. My prediction is really positive. I have a lot of hope for you. I have a lot of hope for myself. I am so grateful for your support. You have helped me tremendously, and I only want the best for you. Take very good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.